Hey, happy day. The U.S. Election was several months ago now, and the GOP, the grand old party, the Republican Party, they're still doing the autopsy, right? An autopsy, of course, can tell the cause of death. And it's kind of like NCIS with Ducky and Gay. Always trying to figure out who killed who and how come and how did he die and so on. In the GOP case, you know what? There is another life. So fix it and reincarnation. Like, let's move along. Save us, but get with the program. Hey, in California, and they need a program. California, with regard to people in jail, inmates. There used to be 117,000 inmates in California prisons, and then the pandemic came along, and the governor, a left-wing wacky guy, he said, hey, we got to get rid of a bunch of these guys because it's not safe in jail, right? So he released 21,000 of them, and that leaves 76,000, and now they are eligible for early release. Some of these guys, holy, 63,000, that's a huge percentage out of the remaining people in prisons in California were convicted of violent crimes, and now they're eligible to attain good behavior credits over and above what they always had in the old system, and some of them upwards to half of what the sentence is. So you know what, that undermines the entire legal process. If you're a judge, or if you're a cop, catch and release, firstly, and if they actually do go to jail, now the judges are saying, hold it here. I said this and you said that, and pretty soon you're going to have the judges, if not already, reacting to this. They're going to say, this guy should get 5 years, but I'm going to give him 8. Because he's going to be out in 5 anyway. I'm going to give him 12 because he's going to be out in 5 anyway. Soon he'll be out in 2 or 3. I mean, this governor, he promised to reduce the prison population and close prisons, right? Well, on the surface, at first blush, that sounds like a nice thing to do. I'm going to reduce blah, 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 and I'm going to close blah, blah, blah. But hold it here. Doesn't it really come down to law enforcement? Because on the other side, he's not doing that. He's all, let's defund the police and let's not hurt the bad guy's feelings and so on. So I guess he's saying that it ain't going to be safe for the regular person out there. That is what he's saying. And he's also saying that I want to make it really difficult, if not impossible, for you to defend your life and to defend your home. I mean, these liberals, they're twisted. They really are twisted. And then you jump over to Canada and you got more twist, and it ain't the dance, you know. They got this conservative leader, and I dislike calling him a conservative because in my humble opinion, he should cross the floor. He should go over to the liberals. Aaron O'Toole, he recently told the virtual crowd that he's looking closely at how Australia makes voting mandatory. That's right. Why don't we just pass a law now and say, you got to vote or we're going to put you in jail? You want some of these people who don't vote to vote? I don't think so. They're dumb as ducks. I mean, come on already. You have to have a little bit of information. You have to be informed. You really want to pass a law that you got all these goofs, all your drug people and everybody else coming to determine the destiny of a country? I want them to vote too, but they need to do it on their own free will. Back to drugs. I mean, you can't get fixed unless you want to. You've got to be part of the program. Everybody knows that. AA people, drug people, and now you're saying we're going to force you to do this. I know I'm off track a little bit, but I'm trying to make a point. It's wrong. It's just wrong, and it's misguided, and this is the guy that says I'm going to lead you guys out of the wilderness. He also says I have a climate plan thing. Well, come on. Firstly, you already had a vote from your people who said, we don't want this, and then he did it anyway. This guy, he's in the wrong party. I can't say it enough. And then he said, oh, by the way, when I was running under the big blue tent, which doesn't exist and we're all getting rained on now, I promised that I wouldn't bring in a carbon tax. I did, but I'm going to call it something else. I promised you that I wouldn't buy a hamburger, so I bought ground beef. Gee, this guy, he goes on and on. And by the way, with regards to carbon in Canada, Canada is responsible for about 1.5% of all global carbon emissions. That's not a measurable thing. I mean, and everybody's talking about carbon and saving the environment. I mean, Canada's not responsible for that. I mean, it's kind of like gun control. Let's take all the guns away from people who didn't do it, who didn't commit the crime, and they're doing that here with the environmental stuff. Let's change Canada's economy and change their life to help things that we don't even do. Oh boy. And then you have the Maverick Party. It started out as a Wexit Party, and I was kind of supportive of them. I actually donated money to them as well. And now they've changed their name, but I think they've also kind of changed their structure. They're saying this: elect us and we're going to repeal the equalization formula, defund the CBC, and government-funded media oppose a liberal gun grab, repeal federal and provincial carbon taxes, and other things. Scrap this bill and scrap that bill. But the conservative people are already saying that. So there's nothing new here other than they're going to stand up for the West. But you already have conservative MPs who do that. They already stand up for the West. This started as a separatist party, Wexit, and then, of course, Maverick. But now it's like the Reform Party. Because it's all reformers from that day that are pretty much in the party. So it's a little disappointing. And so many people still are under the illusion that it's a separatist party. It isn't. It's a party that's going to take seats and only talk about the West. We have some people to do that now. Now, granted, their leader scolds them, and how dare you talk when I didn't tell you to, and you're saying things that I told you not to, or that I don't approve of, right? So I understand that, but it's kind of more of the same, and you'll split the vote. You will, and the Conservative Party will never get in, and on the other hand, so what? Because they don't do anything for Canadians anyway, but the word implies hope, conservative, and maybe someday they'll get a leader and they'll figure it out. They got to do it pretty quick, because 70% of all Canadians have never voted conservative because they're truly not conservative. And if they rejig their game, things would kind of be good. I know stuff. I got to tell you something. Hey, this is my world, and you're just living in it. So y'all come back here tomorrow and have some more liberal dislike and conservative like with me. See ya.